Welcome back, everybody. This is Mr. Brain, your friendly neighborhood gaming dad, and we have probably my favorite thing. We have two new heroes. Granted, they aren't infantry heroes, and I know that, but I love breaking down heroes. You all know this. This is the first look video. If you would like the full breakdowns of these heroes, please feel free to let me know in the comments. But I haven't looked at these yet. I've seen a lot of hype about them, but let's get into their skills and what we can see about them before they get released for the next top commander. First things first, we have a siege and defense ranged hero. This is honestly an odd combination. We've seen that in other heroes before. I believe Eddie is a good example of that, having siege and defense, but in an infantry commander, having that split is expected. Having a defense hero out of ranged is already intriguing. So let's take a look. First things first, we have a multi-target ranged. Not surprising. 3 enemy targets in a circular area, so already starting out with Lewis's strong point, being able to hit an entire circle around. Sure, it's only 3 targets. You still have the 15% reduction, but it's already starting at 13,000. Take off 30% of that, and you're still looking at a little under 10,000 in damage factor. Already like this. If this skill kills an enemy squad, has a 50% chance to immediately recover up to 60 rage, which we love more rage. If this means that this commander is going to focus on killing weaker units around them. The fact that it's limiting itself to 3 means it's going to have a higher damage output overall, because I think Lewis's damage output spikes around 3 to 4 targets. So having this rage recovery boost that just a little bit more is going to be really nice. Skill number 2 increases range squad attack by 30%. We love stat buffs on range, really nice. If the enemy is inflicted with silence, increases basic attack damage dealt to them by 21%. So we found a new pair for Julia or Chun, whatever. So you want this to follow a silence skill, whether it be from a Julia in your own team, whether it be Julia paired with Bard, or whether it be from Chun accidentally, because we know how unreliable Chun's silence is. We're going to get that bonus basic attack damage. Skill number 3, during sieges, increases range squad defense and HP by 25%. So we're already looking at an 80% increase to buffs, to range squad buffs when in siege, between the 30% attack and the 50% in defense and HP, 25% piece. During rallies, so, okay, first of all, just to clarify, during sieges applies to when you're manually attacking a shelter or a tower by yourself, whether it be in a rally or in single marches. So just want to make sure that's clear. This is specifically in rallies. Increases skill damage dealt to garrison squads by up to 54%. Dear freaking God. But all damage taken from garrison squads increases by 12.5%. Do you think we care? We have a rage generation buff when it kills a target around them. Oh boy. Nope, I'm not going to spoil that for you. I will explain what I just got excited about in the actual breakdown for this character, because this is going to be great. I'll show you exactly what this means later. If you can figure it out, leave it in the comments and I'll tell you if you're right. Finally, the Awaken skill. Upping it to 14.3 is just a slap in the face, and increasing the chance to... Okay, first of all, if this skill kills an enemy squad, increases it to 65 rage, and increases on attack by 30% for 3 seconds. Oh god, that is just insult to injury. Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun talking to Z about this later if he hasn't figured it out yet. Dear Lord. Anyways, before I get caught up in that, that's Bard's first look. Let's take a look at Lynne. Lynne, wicked ass sniper rifle. The robotic arm look is awesome. I mean, it's giving Yoshimoto vibes from Tekken. Anyways, deals direct damage to a target for 11-7. Okay. If flanked, when not rallying or garrisoned, deals additional damage to the current target by 2500. So if you're being attacked, it increases the damage you deal to your target and reduces skill damage taken by 15% for 2 seconds. So, kind of a group combat single target killer. It's kind of an odd flip. It's kind of a middle of the road skill. I'll have to see what exactly it means by that. If flanked when not rallying or garrison. So this is a field fighter, which matches because it's general skills, range squad. We've seen that a lot in ranged commanders. Increases range squad attack by 30%. If flanked when not rallying or garrisoned, increases range squad defense by 15%. It's not enough. If you're going to have something like that, it needed to buff that defense by quite a bit more than that, in my opinion. But, again, we're still looking at 30% squad attack and 15% defense. Increases range squad HP by 34%. We like that. We loved that in Julia. It made her very sustainable in longer rallies so that you didn't take as much damage. Counterattacks have a 20% chance to reduce all damage taken by 4.5% for 2 seconds. This effect can be triggered only once in 4 seconds. Now, this is something that we'll have to test like we did with Miyamoto. Because does that counterattack apply to each individual target hitting Lynne? Does it apply to just one target at a time? Is it one effect at a time? Questions we kind of need answers to. The fact that it's every once in 4 seconds, we like that. 20% chance to reduce all damage taken means that it's supposed to be a once every 5 seconds chance. So we're okay with this 4-second limiter. But I would like to know if it applies to all targets. And the ability to reduce damage for yourself for a total of 4.5% does make it so that you can take more hits in group combat with this hero. This is definitely meant to be a more defensive ranged commander. Increases counter damage by 32% and range squad travel speed by 20%. Counter damage just means that she's going to deal more essentially basic attack damage back to anyone that's hitting her. So again, it's a defensive ability. And travel speed increase by 20% means that she's going to be able to chase down or run away from her targets. It's a little bit underwhelming, but having a ranged commander in your team that can actually take a hit, if you're going a full ranged setup, it's going to work in your favor. And the Awaken skill, when in the world map, increases range squad damage by 3%. If flanked, when not rallying or garrisoned, reduces damage taken by 4.5%. That is going to be really nice to have. It's not a top of the line awakened ability, but it's really nice. Because you already take an increased damage whenever you're flanked anyway, so having the reduction in damage be higher than the increase in flank damage means you're actually taking less overall. I believe it's somewhere in the range of like 2% per additional target, but I'll have to look in that later. But all in all, this is not the heaviest hitting commander on the planet, but it does give you a slightly more defensive option that can stay on the field longer. Because as we've seen in meta, ranged commanders get hit second, not first. If you know which commanders get hit first, you know. but ranged commanders get hunted down soon after the buffers and the debuffers. That being said, having someone that can take a hit will help. But that's our first look. I will do full breakdowns of each of these commanders in the coming days, since we've got a lull in between uh, Archipelago Raid and Island Raid this time around. So I'll get these breakdowns for you, and I still owe you all a video in vehicles and what I've learned so far about them. I will let you know that this is going to be the bread and butter of your vehicle upgrades, so please pay attention to the workshop. With that, this is Mr. Brain, your friendly neighborhood gaming dad, signing off.